Okay, get this. A new study claims that travel can actually slow down aging. I know. You're probably thinking, come on, is a weekend trip really going to turn back time? I thought the same thing. But the science behind this is actually pretty interesting.
It is fascinating.
We're diving into a Washington Post article by Andrea Sachs all about it, fresh from September 20th, 2024.
We're not saying ditch the sunscreen and book a one-way ticket to the Fountain of Youth just yet. But this study out of Edith Cowan University in Australia, it really caught our eye. It digs into how the choices we make, lifestyle stuff like travel, can actually impact how we age.
The article mentioned this thing, low entropy. I'll be honest, I had to look it up. Sounds kind of Star Trek-y. What's the deal with low entropy? What does it have to do with travel?
No spaceships or warp speed here, I promise. Think of it this way. Entropy basically means things naturally decline over time.
Right, like your car.
Exactly. Your house, even our bodies. If you don't actively maintain things, they start to break down. So this study is suggesting that travel can help combat that decline, almost like hitting the refresh button.
Interesting. So is it really as simple as just getting away from work for a while?
It's a little more nuanced than that. It seems that those positive travel experiences, like when you really connect with new people or you're navigating a new city and your brain is really working, or even just walking more than usual, it can actually have an effect on those biological markers of aging.
So it's not just about escaping. It's about what you're doing, how you're experiencing the trip.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting. The article pointed out that a lot of these travel experiences, connecting with people, being active, even trying new foods, it all lines up with things we already know are good for our health.
It's true. It's like travel packages all those healthy habits into one exciting adventure.
Precisely. And there's even more to it. The article brought up the Mediterranean diet and those blue zones.
Right, right. Those places where people are living crazy long lives. What do those have to do with travel?
Well, think about what it'd be like to travel to one of those blue zones. You'd be trying new foods, probably walking a lot more, really immersing yourself in a new culture.
So it's not just about the travel itself. Maybe it's about how travel can kind of nudge us towards healthier habits, a healthier lifestyle.
That's a great point. It's like travel can be this catalyst for positive change. We start living a healthier life, often without even realizing it, and that can have a ripple effect on our overall well-being, maybe even extend our lifespan.
Okay, so we're building a case here for travel as a potential longevity booster. But the article also mentioned that travel isn't always perfect, right? There's stress, potential dangers. Does that cancel out all the good stuff?
You're absolutely right. Travel, like anything else, has its downsides. And the study acknowledged that those negative experiences, they can actually have the opposite effect, even harm our health. Imagine a trip where everything goes wrong. Flights are delayed, you get food poisoning, you're lost and stressed.
I think we've all been there.
Right. And those experiences can take a toll. The study emphasizes that it's not just about traveling more, it's about being mindful about the kinds of trips we take and how they impact us individually.
So how do we apply that to our own lives? Should we be booking more trips or changing the way we travel?
Yeah.
What's the takeaway?
It's a bit of both, actually. Think of travel as an investment in your well-being, not just an escape from your everyday life.
So it's not just about hopping on a plane and going somewhere far away. It's about being smart about the trips we take and realizing how they can affect us.
Yeah, the study wasn't telling people to just go on more trips. It was more about seeing travel as a chance to do things that are good for us, things that are easier to do when we're not stuck in our routines.
Which makes me think about those blue zones we were talking about. They're not exactly known for fancy resorts, are they?
No, not really.
What is it that those places all have in common?
Well, in Okinawa, it's gardening and a strong sense of community. In Sardinia, people find a lot of purpose in their lives, usually through family and traditions. In Icaria, it's a slower pace of life and a deep connection with nature.
And those things are hard to find when you're caught up in the daily grind. I can see how travel could be a way to experience those blue zone vibes, even for a little bit.
That's it. The study actually mentioned a few specific things to look for when you're planning trips with this low entropy idea in mind, like pick destinations where you can be more active, maybe hiking, exploring a city on foot, or even just swimming every day.
It's like they say, walk more, worry less. Maybe it should be travel more, worry less.
I like that. And the social part is really important too. The study talked about how important strong relationships are for a long life, and travel can be a great way to make new connections and strengthen the ones you have. Instead of just going to the touristy spots, why not try something where you can connect with locals, like cooking classes, language exchanges, or even volunteering?
So it's more about getting involved with the local culture and really interacting with people rather than just being a bystander.
You got it. The study found that it's those real, unplanned moments of connection, having dinner with a local family, getting caught up in a conversation with another traveler. Those are the experiences that can really make us feel like we belong and boost our well being. And that takes us right back to what we see in the blue zones: strong communities and a sense of purpose.
It's almost like travel can be a shortcut to those important parts of a long, healthy life.
You could say that. Which brings us to another important point. Remember how we said travel isn't always easy? It's important to be aware of the possible downsides and pick experiences that are right for you.
Right, because forcing yourself to go whitewater rafting when you're terrified of water probably isn't going to help you live longer, right?
Probably not. What the study emphasizes is that being mindful is key. If you're someone who likes things planned out and familiar, maybe a super busy itinerary with lots of traveling between places isn't the best idea. It might be better to slow down, choose one or two destinations, and really immerse yourself in the local culture.
It's all about knowing what you need and what you enjoy and finding what works best for you. Some people find their travel sweet spot exploring big cities, while others find it in the peace and quiet of nature.
Exactly. What's important here is that travel, when done thoughtfully, can be a powerful way to improve our well-being and maybe even help us live longer.
We've talked about the science, the benefits, the things to watch out for. What does this all mean for people listening who might be feeling inspired to plan their next trip?
Now that's the big question, isn't it? This study wasn't about giving you a list of places to go or things to do. It's about changing how you think about travel. Instead of just a break from life, see it as an investment in your life,
Yeah.
an investment in your health, your happiness, and maybe even how long you live.
We've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about the science behind this whole travel for longevity idea, how it connects to those blue zones, and even some things to watch out for. But what about our listeners who are ready to book their next trip? What are some key takeaways to keep in mind as they plan?
That's the question, right? This study wasn't about giving a checklist of places to go or things to do. It was about changing your whole mindset around travel. Instead of looking at it as just an escape from life, think of it as putting something back into your life, like an investment in your health, your well-being, maybe even your lifespan.
So instead of just thinking, where do I want to go? It's, how can I travel in a way that really benefits me?
Exactly. Ask yourself, what are my goals for this trip? What kind of experiences will make me feel refreshed, recharged, more connected to myself and the wider world? Answer those questions, and you're on the right track to planning a trip that's good for you, inside and out.
It's like travel can be this amazing tool for learning about yourself, for growing as a person.
Absolutely. And that's what makes all this research so exciting. It's not just about checking off destinations on a list, it's about understanding how different travel experiences can actually change us, shape us, and yeah, maybe even help us live longer.
This has been eye-opening. I'm definitely thinking about travel differently now. It's not just a vacation. It's like actively investing in a longer, healthier, more fulfilling life.
I couldn't agree more. And the best part is, this journey, it never really ends. There's always something new to see, something new to learn about the world and about ourselves.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired to embrace this whole travel for longevity idea, what's one final thought you'd leave them with?
Remember, the journey is just as important as the destination. Really be present in those moments of connection, those chances for growth, the experiences that make you feel truly alive. That's where the real magic happens.
Beautifully said. And there you have it. The next time you feel that urge to explore, remember, you might not just be satisfying your wanderlust. You might be adding years to your life. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.